I've read so many different things about when we're eating our meals, whether we should be consuming drinks at the same time. Some people say you should drink before or after, but not during a meal. Is that true?
You're not talking about alcoholic beverages.
No, just normal water.
Yeah, I think it's normal for us to hydrate when we eat. What some people are talking about is sometimes when we hydrate too much, we dilute the hydrochloric acid.
Right.
Many of us, as we get older, even though we suffer from GERD or gastric esophageal reflux disease and we feel like our stomachs are more acidic, actually, our stomachs are more sensitive, and oftentimes we're not secreting enough acid. What I always say with things like that, in terms of choosing your diet, as long as you're not eating like synthetic foods, as long as you're eating healthy foods, listen to your body. Right. Develop a relationship with your body where you listen to how your digestive system functions. What I really say in terms of both weight loss and health, keep a food diary. It's really easy to do with smartphones now. Heck, you can take pictures of everything you eat before you eat it. So you have a record of what you've eaten and the quantities you've eaten. That's the most important thing we could do, is really have that kind of an awareness. A lot of us, we're so busy, we're so crazy, we just forget about what we're sort of brain dead. We're kind of robots when we're shoving food into our face, and we forget how important that is, that is, even depending on the doctors you might read or the experts you might read, most of them will say, at a minimum, that over half of the major health issues we suffer from in life, whether it's going to be cancer or heart disease, things like that, is diet and lifestyle related. Some will say over 80%. And I'm more on that 80% side. So we, again, have incredible power. What I wanted to show quickly on the berberine, because berberine is an ingredient that's closely related to curcumin. But berberine, like curcumin, originally, it was an herb, but look how bright yellow color that is. And it was also used for coloring. And there's no real need for synthetic dyes and colors when you see how bright turmeric is. Turmeric is bright orange, that berberine is bright yellow. And even if you look at our fruitful antioxidants product, it's bright purple. There's all sorts of natural choices if you want to color a product that they don't have to use, like all the multivitamins out there. Most of them contain yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. Berberine is in tiny concentrations is an incredibly rich, bright yellow color.
It's interesting seeing how things have changed, and I think we as a society are maybe more informed than we used to be, that we kind of expect a little more than we used to do as well, you know? Right. We want to spend a few moments here, which is on Andrew's always popular Ultimate Whey.
It's May. A lot of folks focus on weight loss now because summer is coming.
Indeed it is.
We have our secure meal replacements. We make secure meal replacement with soy protein, whey protein, and even marine collagen protein. But what I just wanted to show was our protein powder. A lot of folks start working out more and they're, say, reducing their caloric intake. They still want to make sure they're getting quality protein. This is the highest quality protein you'll find anywhere. It also, I'll show you in a moment, mixes with water. But you won't find another protein product like this. It's, as you look at just this chart right here, it's 10 grams of whey protein isolate, which is just a small scoop. That's per serving. There's no fat. There's no trans fat. There's no saturated fat. There's no cholesterol. This, despite it being derived from whey protein, which is a dairy-derived source. No carbohydrate, no sugar. So even folks who are lactose intolerant, you should just try the product. You could return it if it doesn't work for you. But it's got such low levels of sugar that it's considered sugar-free. Low sodium, no added soy. Most whey protein products add soy for solubility, and a lot of people are using whey to avoid soy. No flavors added, no sweeteners added, no artificial ingredients. You add it to a smoothie, you add it to your oatmeal. It almost tastes like you added a little bit of milk, because the only hint of flavor it has is a slight dairy flavor. So in a smoothie, it's wonderful. Even a vegetable smoothie, we'll add it at home. A fruit smoothie, we'll add it at home, or even in your oatmeal. It mixes perfectly, as I'll show you. It even mixes simply in a glass of water. It's good I'm getting my whey protein and my marine collagen peptides here. But where is a scoop? Is there a scoop here?
Why is sodium not good? There's always a big thing around sodium.
And there's a lot of discussion in terms of sodium because not everyone is necessarily sodium sensitive. But sodium is something that in many individuals, increased intake of sodium is associated with a significantly increased rate of hypertension, meaning high blood pressure. But again, It's not a perfect relationship, not a perfect correlation, but in large populations, reducing sodium intake, and there were just some interesting studies on it recently, and they go both ways. But sodium is something that we love the taste of sodium, but we want to make sure that we're like anything. We're consuming, we want it in that healthy level. So we don't want to be consuming too much sodium, because sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, these are the electrolytes that should exist in our body in a healthy balance. And again, sodium is something that we should watch our intake of sodium, and when we're like with glucosamine or chondroitin, we don't want sodium, we don't need to be getting extra sodium for our supplements. Let's get the sodium with the foods that we might want it to be more palatable. And again, of course, being moderate. But as you saw, this is a whey protein isolate. I kind of took it for granted. I stirred it for about 5 seconds, and it mixes completely. And the only thing it will taste like, it will just taste like a little bit like a hint of milk. Otherwise, no flavor.
And again, please feel free to try it. One of the things that Andrew will always tell you, if you don't like it, you return it and you get all of your money back. So feel encouraged to give it a go.
As you saw, I took 2 scoops, mixed it in about 8 ounces of water, and I just drank it. It's not chunky, everything is in solution, and there's nothing left in the glass. So it's unlike and that's an incredibly high quality protein. I defy you to find a higher quality protein, a purer protein, anywhere in the world. We add nothing to it.
So let's head over this way to Cholesterol.
Right.
And I do want to save at least a minute at the end of the show. I have a question for Andrew.
And there was a good question on Cholesterol amongst the questions that were asked. And so many of the things we're talking about are questions that I've been asked.
Yes.
But if you're taking our Choco Nuvo, each piece of Choco Nuvo is the equivalent of a capsule of Cholesterol.
Okay.
Cholesterol is plant sterols. Choco Nuvo is plant sterol esters. They both have the same effectiveness. They are both at the same level of potency. So it was a question. So you could use them interchangeably. For those of you who like having a piece of chocolate with each meal, then you don't have to have your Cholesterol separately anymore. So it's something, they are the exact same mechanism of action, and they both are exceptional